wherever you are. It's a blessing. In fact, one of these days I should have some drinks and what else should I add here? I think I have to celebrate myself. It's been a blessed 2023 with the lounge from January up till now, and it's been a blessing. I know people are being blessed, but I believe that I've also been blessed myself, and I thank God for this opportunity to come to you every Thursday live on YouTube for now. So if you are on, that's good, means you have subscribed. If not, maybe somebody just shared it to you. You can subscribe, like the page, comment, click on the notification so that anytime there's a video uploaded or coming on live, you can be blessed by it. And today I intentionally wore red. Today is a love thing. Normally when we are talking about love, we like to, I don't know, but we like red. We love red. We love red, and it's, I don't know. Red is blood. And today, as I prepared for the session, I was just praying that may relationships and marriages be healthy. May relationships and marriages have life. If anything, with blood, it means has a life. May it have life. May it have life. I pray that it will have life. It will be all that we desire to be and always have in marriage. And today, I'm coming to ask us questions. Today's session, I really wish I had some either singles and married people here. But I'm just coming to ask us questions, and because I'm the only one here and you are there, it will be more of rhetorical questions, but I want you to answer them, think about it, and meditate about them. We thank God that He created marriage. And for God and for us Christians, marriage is between a man and a woman. I believe right now in our society, there are a lot of things happening, but the marriage that God sees and accepts is a marriage between a man and a woman. And today, I want to ask all my single daughters and ladies out there. It's not a wedding. I'm talking about marriage. What have you been thinking and dreaming about? Is it marriage or wedding? Wedding is just an event. Even right now, you can have the traditional and the church wedding sometimes just one day. So it's just an event one day. But even as you are thinking of, okay, either you found somebody or you are yet to find someone, I mean a man, because he who finds a wife finds a good thing. So normally for us women and ladies, the men have to find us, and there has to be a kind of agreement between, and I don't want to use chemistry, connection, or yes, an atmosphere of love and a point where you like yourselves and you would want to spend the rest of your life together. And at this point, let me pause and speak to my single ladies here. Check your heart. I mean, sometimes no man has even proposed, but somebody is really liking you and is smiling with you, but has not said, please, would you marry me? I want to spend the rest of my life with you, but maybe probably because the way the person is laughing with you, talking with you, chatting with you, using you as status, for status, and all that, you are assuming that the person, please, if no gentleman has formally opened his mouth to ask you, please, will you marry me? I want to spend the rest of my life. Please don't assume. Don't assume anything so that you don't have broken hearts. Anyway, but why do you want to marry? I really want somebody to think about it. Why do you want to marry? Why? Is it because there's pressure from family? Because you're looking at age? Because you're looking at maybe giving birth or having children? Or you want to come and have a kind of status in society? Why do you want to marry? Why are you thinking of marriage? Why are you yearning for it? Why have you cried small? And sometimes you think that God has forgotten. Why do you want to marry? I'm not saying some of the reasons I've just given might not be a reason why you want to get married, but I want somebody to really think about it deeply. Because marriage is another phase of life. And for marriage, I normally tell singles, let's say that by the grace of God, you get married this year and you are 30 years and you are believing God for long life and you're about to marry for the next 50 years. Wow. And you'll be 80. Oh, we thank God. You are now about to marry for the next 50 years. Oh. you want to be 80. You are going to now be married for 50 years. Let me say 50. 50 years. Why do you want to go on that journey? Why? I don't know. Someone say, "Oh, why are you asking us this question?" That's what's in my spirit to ask you today. Why? And I want somebody to really note it and have it in mind. Why do you want to marry? Why do you want to marry? What kind of fulfillment do you think marriage will bring you? Why, in the next phase of marriage, what do you see? Why are you yearning for it? And by the time you answer some of these questions, it would help you prepare better. Have a kind of understanding even who you are desiring to come in your life. And not just say, I want to marry because it's time. Marriage is of God, great. And we are not thinking of, like I've said, wedding. I don't know, as I was thinking and preparing for today's session, I could just hear my spirit, wedding, marriage. Listen. And by the time I talk about that, I'm now speaking to my married people. Wedding, marriage. And I've seen a lot of people who have been married and they are wondering, oh, why did I spend so much and spend a lot of time investing in my wedding and I never looked at this side? I'm not saying wedding is not. Jesus' first miracle was in the wedding, so it means that weddings are important. But even as you think of marriage, don't think of the event so much. I'm not saying don't plan. Ask God how things should be. He will lead you at that time. But even the kind of marriage you would want to have would help you plan your wedding. I don't want to answer too many questions today because that's not my assignment this morning or this afternoon. Or whatever time I'm coming to you, wherever you are. But to my single ladies, I want you to think about it deeply. We are in the middle of the year, and probably a lot of us are thinking, hey, when is my marriage coming on? It will come on. It will come on. It will come on. It will come gloriously. I came to bless a daughter as well, and a single lady. It will come on. But I want you to think about it. Why do you want to marry? Why? And hold on to that, meditate on that, and let it be a great foundation for you. I thank God for my life. Next week, I'll be 15 years in marriage. Whoa! I can't imagine 15 years have come, but I remember being single. I was thinking more of, okay, I thought more of marriage, of course. Wedding comes in, but more of marriage. And I always had a book. I look for that book. I don't know how many, what number it got to. But I remember anything good I heard or felt marriage could give me and bless my life with. I remember I would note it down. To any kind of simplest thing you can think of. I don't know, when I'm married, so I don't even know what to say. But any simplest thing you can think of agreeing, of then laughing, or I don't know what it is. But any simple thing you can think of. I just want to think some out of my head. But I could write every single thing. I mean, everything I could see that I liked, I would write it. And it was like a prayer point. And those times when I used to do that, I had not even found somebody. Did I say I had not found? I had not been found. I was still praying. Or the kind of man I wanted to marry. And that kind of man I wanted to marry, it didn't have the height, the stature, and all that. But it was more of values. It was more of how I wanted that person to treat me. It was more of the kind of, and like I always say, I just don't love tension. Let me put it that way. I don't like tension. And so I like to a place where I'll be free. And it's been a journey of 15 years of blessed marriage. And it's come with its up and downs, with its different phases, even in marriage. But I look back and I believe that the kind of values, the kind of goals, the things that I looked forward to, how I saw marriage, why I was married, and the things that I put down and I prayed over them, I believe for me are the things that by grace is working for me now. And so I want to encourage a single lady out there. Probably you have not got into that level, or you have not even yet married, because you are not prepared yet. Probably because there's still something that has to be added to your life. And you see, marriage is for the matured. It's not for it's not for girls. It's not for babies. It's not for people who are crying and crying and crying, and sometimes they don't know what to do. I've just engaged a lot of people who are married, and sometimes I wonder, sometimes either they should have waited before, they should have had any kind of understanding and all that. But life beyond what we see sometimes in movies concerning marriage is beyond that. And every marriage is different, and your marriage will be different. And so you have to allow God to equip you for what is to come. I always say that I believe that for myself, I got married at the right time. To be matured in a lot of things so that I could handle it as I married. Because I married, and my husband was now, when I met him, was not a pastor, was now a pastor. And I was going to be called also for Mami, like how we say it in Ghana, pastor's wife, which I didn't really like the name. And marrying that young, I remember when I was married, I was 25 years. And so you're not going to be also for Mami of people who are far older than you. And at a point, I believe that God prepared me in a lot of ways before that time. And because we courted for almost 5 years, and I remember a lot of people did not really understand, but felt we should marry. But I remember at that time when I had a conviction that it was time for marriage, I just knew that this was the time. There's somewhere God is taking you. Marriage is another phase of your life with God in it that would add to your purpose, that would add to who God has made you in life. And so as I'm asking these questions, as you meditate on it, God himself will use it to prepare you. And I believe some of us, we have heard God already on some of the things we should do or not do, or how we should see marriage and invest in our marriage, even now before we get married. But we are relaxing about it. I just told one lady one day, and I was like, hey, she was looking good. And I said, Madam, Look good like this if you want to be found. Look good like this always. If you think, and I asked them a question. I said, if you have a boyfriend now, or you have somebody you are going out with, will you always be dressing like this? Then she said no, because how she was dressed wasn't good. And I said, then dress in the same way. Be who you are now, in a better way, before you are found, or as you are found, and so that you can even be found. And I always tell my singles, I don't know, today it's going for singles. Married, I'll look for a word for us. But even as a single person, you need to be complete in yourself. You need to love yourself. You need to know who you are. Marriage is not going to, it's not that marriage, you not enjoy marriage, but marriage will not complete you. You need to, or marriage is not now going to make you happy. And that's why the point in time, a lot of people are disappointed because it's as if marriage will now, right now I'm not happy and all that. So marriage is now going to make me happy. No. He said he'll look for a suitable helper for you. And so you are going to be a suitable helper for someone. It means you already have something. You already have something that is good. You already have something that is worth having. But if you don't know even what you have, and so sometimes people enter marriage and there's still low self-esteem, serious low self-esteem. How to handle themselves, how to now handle their in-laws, how to now, people who now give birth, how to even now handle their children, handle their husband, out of a lot of things, add career, and if you are somebody who loves God and you are doing ministry, combine all that. Listen, it's not for the faint-hearted. And you still want to achieve it all, have it all. It starts from now. It starts from now. And so today my question is, why do you want to marry? Why? What are the things you are looking at? What are some of the things that you are looking at seeing in your marriage? And how are you preparing for it? It's important. You have to seek knowledge. I don't know why some of us are not reading books or listening to relevant messages. And please, it's not every message. It's not every message. you should listen to all that. There are some people who will not give you good advice, but very relevant things about your own self. And like I've been sharing with some of my single, people are getting married even as single, and they can't even understand their own body. They don't know their body. They can't understand their cycle, menstrual cycle. They don't have any understanding of how ovulation is. They don't know their body. They don't understand themselves. No. Seek knowledge. Seek relevant knowledge. I think over maybe the next sessions, I'll bring us some of the books and other things that can help us. And I believe these sessions too that I've done on It's a Love Thing, you can go to the playlist on my channel, Benedicta Josephine Dodd, and you can get some knowledge. And that's why I come to you every week with It's a Love Thing. Why do you want to marry? Settle with God. Meditate on these things so that everything you do will prosper. Like we read in Psalm 1, it includes marriage. As you meditate on marriage. And please, I'm saying it again, it's not the kente, it's not the white gown I'm talking about. Don't think about wedding. I love planning. I'm not talking about wedding. Think about marriage. Think about some of the things that you value right now when you get married and you still want to maintain that kind of lifestyle. How is it going to be like? How are you going to manage? Start thinking ahead and preparing ahead. By the time you get there, it might not be the same, or you might have to adjust. But listen, at least it would have been in your mind that, or there will be a firm decision concerning how you want your marriage life to still be like. There are things you should think of. I remember when I got married, before then I was an usher in church. And I remember I told my husband that, no, I can't be sitting. I can't be sitting down as if I don't have anything to do and dress up and come and sit down as also mommy. That was my choice. And it wasn't something that It was something I thought of even before marriage. I said, no, I can't do that. And so I remember for a very long time, I was very, even right now, sometimes when he sees me doing one washing or the other, he'll tell me that, no, I'm not supposed to do that. But if you come to my church, I can't sit down because I believe I need to still serve. And these are values and things I thought of why I wanted to marry, the things I still want to uphold as my values and who I am in marriage. And sometimes I look back, I'm wondering if I really sat down and said I will not do anything. I don't know what would have happened to me. Spiritually, I'll be dying. And so I want us to think a little further. And so far as the Holy Spirit put this on my heart to share with somebody, I know it's going to bless somebody. It's going to wake somebody up. And you know, by the time you are thinking of these values and things, what happens is that it really prepares you for marriage. It makes you find yourself. It makes you love yourself. It makes you know what you want to do in life. And you go for it. And for those who have not been found, the more you express yourself in life now, I always say that's when you'll be found. Because there's a guy out there, there's a man out there who is looking for somebody with a particular kind of trait. Not somebody who is very sad and is as if everything is coming to an end. I know that sometimes we can receive pressures from family and people around, but listen, it's your life. I always say that it's your life. It's not that you don't want to get married. No. You do want to marry. What does you want to marry? You want to marry. Yes. And I'm praying that if there's any kind of delay concerning anybody's marriage, may the Lord bring it forward to you. May whoever has to find you, find you. I think about 2 weeks ago, or last week, I said a prayer for my singles on our Zoom platform and altar. The people are about to like you. All of a sudden, they're about to notice you. When I said it, and I was praying for them, I remembered a statement. I don't know whether the last time my husband came, he said it, but there's something he always said. He was always seeing me in church, but there was a day he noticed me. There's a day you'll be noticed. There's a day you'll be liked. There's a day the person will be like, hey, wow, this is the right person for me. But you still have to maintain who you are, maintain your smile, maintain your composure, look good. Am I talking to a single lady? Look good yourself. Not that you are dressing to be attractive for people to know, but have a kind of life. And I know that God is coming through for you. So why do you want to marry? And for my married, all I want to say is that we are married already. And sometimes there are lots of things we look back, we wish we could have corrected. And we could have corrected. I don't want to talk much on that one. All I want to say is that look at where you are now. And just believe God for a better married life. I don't know about you, but for me, almost every year, God gives me a kind of goal of what I should do in marriage. And most of the time, there are things that when I want to do it, I'm like, and see, that was them. And you see, you have to invest in your marriage. Most of the time, it's towards my husband or a kind of prayer I should pray. And normally, it's not something that maybe I would just really love to do, but I have to do it. But I think over the period, it has held me. And for me, I've never stopped praying in my marriage. I've never stopped sowing seeds of prayer, things I want to see, how things should be. It's a daily affair for me. I want to discuss things with my husband. It's a daily affair of prayer for me. It's a daily thing for me. And transitioning from single, married, and as I was talking about the singles and knowing what to do and other things, I just looked back and I realized that I married June 2009. It does say 2009, June 2008. By January 2009, Hopeful Ministries International was already in the pipeline. From January to June 2009, I was meeting with my friends in our house, ready to start HMI. By July 2009, so 6 months into marriage, HMI had already started. And before marriage, this was not part. And I just thank God. I really thank God for my life. It's been a journey. It's been a blessed journey. A lot of expectations. And that's why I'm saying it's for the matured. Expectations where sometimes you wish things would be like this, but they are not. But they become. I just remembered one value I had. I said I wanted before I got married. I remember before I got married, I told myself I need to do my master's. I need to do my master's. Before then, I was trying to do these professional courses in marketing. Same. I stopped and I said, no, I need to do my master's. So I started my MBA before I got married. And I don't know about you. Maybe that's why I don't really, no, not that's why I don't really fancy, but I realized that you can still have a blessed and happy marriage and a wedding when you've planned and still have other things going on. Because I remember a day before my wedding, I wrote a paper. I wrote an accounting paper in MBA. It was interesting. I went to the salon. I didn't have time for anything. I mean, I don't remember what they even did on me. All I was interested in was to go and write my paper. But God has been good. It's been one event after the other, but it's been a blessing. Marriage is of God. And it's a blessing. And for us, especially ladies, he said, we'll be suitable. He said, this man is alone. Let me find somebody suitable. It means you have something good. Because if you are about to be a helper, it means you have something good to help somebody. And God, allow God to invest in you to be a blessing. For me personally, I believe that in getting married, if I had not grown spiritually to a point, I would have a lot of problems. But I thank God that by then I had matured to a certain level to understand a lot of things around me. I don't know what God is preparing you for. Allow yourself for God to prepare you for marriage. As you think about some of the things that I've talked about today, I believe that God himself would help you. And I pray that relevant information would come to you. And again, let me go to my married people. Look at your marriage now. Look at how you want your marriage. Maybe it would be just in the next 2 years, 2025. Start praying about it. There are things that we have carried along that has not helped us. And sometimes we don't know how to push it off. A wise woman builds her home. I pray that God will give you wisdom to be able to build your home, build your marriage again. See, there are things that we have thrown away, but you still wish you would have them. Don't throw them away. Still bring them on. I don't know whether I've said it at the lounge here before, but for me, early in marriage, I've learned a lot of things out of experience and out of being in it. But sometimes, my husband even after now will say that I like to pray about everything. I should talk. I'll talk, but I'll still pray about it to an extent. But a point where not talking too much and looking at things will change and assuming a lot of things, we've grown out of it and become better people. And so don't be too quiet. Don't exchange your happiness and your joy and something that is not making you happy for other things. God has a way. God has a way. God has a way. Talk to God about it. I'm speaking to the married now. But sometimes, that's one thing I tell singles. There are things that you start in marriage and things you allow. If you have not thought of it very carefully, at a point in time when you start it in marriage, stopping or trying to say, can we do something else? It's a whole thing altogether. It's a whole ball game altogether. I don't want to go much into it, but all I want to say is that God is our helper. He instituted marriage, and he expects that we enjoy ourselves in marriage. I will not stop using this scripture because it's one of the ideal things I see marriage to be like. And I want to end with this. That's from Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 to 12. Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, one will lift up his companion. But woe to him who is alone when he falls. So woe to a man who has a woman in his life, who is not a helper, who is not ready, who is not equipped. Hey, can I say A here? Hey, when he falls. Someone will say, what about the other way? Of course, the other way around. He should be able also to help you up. But woe if both of you cannot help each other. For he has no one to help him. Verse 11, again, if two lie down together, they keep warm. But how can one be warm alone? And verse 12, which shows the importance of God in our marriage and the center of our marriages. Though one may be overpowered by another, two can withstand him, and a threefold cord is not easily broken. Like I said earlier when I started, I picked this red for a reason. I'm praying that blood, which represents life, which normally we use with the heart for love, I pray that every marriage would have life. Every marriage that you seek to be in would have life. And I pray that whatever it takes to have this kind of life, especially in God, will be in a marriage. May someone not endure her marriage, may someone enjoy. It will come with a lot of adjustments. It will come a lot of compromise. I don't like using compromise. It will come with a lot of understanding to ensure that things are what you desire. But I pray that marriages will be blessed. Those who are preparing to get married, may you see your marriage ahead and prepare for it. And plan for it with God. And for us who are already married, may God help us so that our married life would be better. Because there are more years ahead. And you can't decide to be still in that pain, to still be in that agony. And I know that God, in his wisdom, can find a way and bring you joy, peace, and love. Okay, so it's a love thing for me here. And it's a love thing. Today is a love thing. So, like I said, today it's more of questions and me pouring my heart out onto you. And I hope it's been a blessing. If it's been a blessing, share it with somebody. And if there's any other question, maybe you wish, as I'm talking, you're like, you want to ask, just notice in the comment section. I'll do that for you. God bless you and see you next week. Bye.